channel. Today is Tuesday, March 8th, so I turn 32 weeks pregnant tomorrow. So I thought we would just quickly do a 31 to 32 weeks pregnant bump date. I actually just got back from my 32-week midwife appointment, so I'll talk about that in a second, just because there's like a little thing that's going on there. But I thought first I would just talk about symptoms, things I'm experiencing over the past 2 weeks. I'm having an on and off appetite. I'm having days where I'm just really not hungry at all, and I don't really know what to do about it. I don't know if I should force myself to eat or if I should just eat intuitively. I don't know. It's weird. But then I have days where I'm starving, so I think it all evens out in the end. I'm also having really odd on and off sleep where I'm either getting excellent sleep and I'm just sleeping through the night and everything is fine, or I'm having times where I wake up and I'm just filled with anxiety about everything. Like right now it's the whole Russia thing. Russia is literally our neighbor, and I'm still so exhausted from the whole COVID thing that I'm not ready to have to think about World War III, and gas prices are going through the roof. Electricity is going through the roof. There's talks about everyone is starting to bunker and store up on things. And anyway, we were planning on scaling our farm back significantly this year and just taking it easy, because I'm going to be giving birth at the very beginning of our farming season. And I'm going to be postpartum. I don't want to be laboring on the farm. And then we're supposed to go to the US for my sister's wedding in October. So we don't want to have a massive harvest that we have to do while I'm only 4 or 5 months postpartum. So we were going to scale back, but now we can't, because now we have to really store up, because who knows what's going to happen to the food supply if there's going to be war. There's talks about food shortages, and I don't know what to believe or not. So anyway, I have a lot of very odd circumstantial stress and anxiety, and I'm just having the weirdest, most nonsensical dreams. Anyway, and as can be expected, I'm in a generally crappy mood. And it feels hormonal. It doesn't feel circumstantial, because it's kind of like how I am when I PMS, where I find myself getting really impatient or just really ticked off. I have a short fuse. I get very frustrated very easily with things, and then I have to stop myself and be like, whoa, where is this coming from? Because this is a complete overreaction. I just have a short fuse right now. I'm still dealing with some pelvic floor pressure. It's mostly in the evenings, and it's mostly when my baby drops really low into my pelvis and then he pops back up. I had the same experience with my last son, where I used to say he was bobbing for apples, because he would drop and then he'd come back up, and then he'd drop and then he'd come back up, and it happens daily. It's exhausting and it feels odd. I'm not in any pain, but the pressure, I feel it on my bladder. I feel like my hoo-ha's being turned inside out sometimes. It's just very strange. I always experience odd skin things in pregnancy. I don't have stretch marks yet, fingers crossed. But in both my other pregnancies, I got a lot of new freckles and skin tags, here on my neck. I got a lot on my neck and my chest. And some on my rib cage. I haven't noticed any new freckles or skin tags this pregnancy, but the things I have been getting, and I will put pictures up because I can't see my face right now filming, but I'm getting these really tiny spider veins in my cheeks, and I actually noticed these when I was watching back on my earlier pregnancy updates, 8 weeks, 9 weeks, 10 weeks. I saw this little red spot on my cheek, one of my cheeks, and I'm like, God, is that a pimple or what is that? Because I don't get pimples. I don't break out with acne or anything. I'm like, what is that? So I looked in the mirror and I realized I had this little spider vein, and I have since gotten another one, I think. Alongside those, I'm getting these things called cherry angiomas. They look like freckles, but they're these little tiny red blood blister type things. And apparently they're common in pregnancy and also just as you age in general. So I've got a double whammy factor situation there. but I will show them to you guys when I do my bump shot, once I can find them. My belly button, I've never had it invert, like pop out in any of my pregnancies. My belly button's very deep, and I don't think it's gonna pop out in this pregnancy, but it's getting really close to it at this point, and I cannot stand anything or anyone touching my belly button. And my 5-year-old is obsessed with my belly right now. She holds onto it, she hugs it, she's constantly touching it, she's constantly talking to the baby, she's trying to feed it food through my belly button, and I'm just like, stop touching me. Don't touch my belly button. It's just icky and gross and yucky and kind of uncomfortable. I don't have any heartburn yet, so that's a win. I have not been having any Braxton Hicks that I know of, at least that I can differentiate from my son's weird pushing, stretching movements. But definitely a win in this pregnancy, because my last pregnancy, I was getting Braxton Hicks all the time. And I generally feel great, which is awesome. I don't have any aches or pains. I don't know. I'm a very boring pregnant person. I don't have anything to really like complain about at this point in time. My son's movement patterns are starting to become a lot more defined. He seems to be quite active between like 4:30 in the afternoon and maybe like 8:30 in the morning. And then he has like moments throughout the day where he will be a little bit more active than not, but usually he seems to sleep during the day and be very, very quiet. But when it comes time to like early to late evening, he starts pushing and stretching. He's not so much the kicking, punching type, although he does do that. But his thing is he moves position so often and it freaks me out. So let's segue that into my midwife appointment today. Let's just run down my stats. My blood pressure was 88/58. My blood sugars were 4.6. My hemoglobin was 127. My baby's heart rate was 148. And my fundal measurement, my fundal height, I'm on a curve now. I'm staying on a curve at the moment, but it's the highest normal curve. He's measuring 3 weeks ahead again this week. Well, not he, but my belly is measuring 3 weeks ahead. But because it's still within that normal range, they're not going to order a growth scan. And because my blood sugars are normal and everything, like there's apparently no reason to worry. But when she was measuring my fundal height and then checking his heartbeat, she had a hard time finding everything. He was like, the baby was pushing away from her and kicking her and everything. And again, unfortunately, he's not head down. He's very much like transverse. His head right now, she thinks it's his head. She says that it seems like it is just above my left hip, and then what she thinks is his butt is like sort of sticking out my front side on my right-hand side of my body. And like she told me that at my next appointment, which I think is my 35-week appointment, she said that if he's not head down by then, she's gonna have to send me to the hospital for another undersökning. What is that, you guys? Not investigation. What's the word? Like a checkup? I don't know. They're going to look and see what is going on, maybe do a scan. I don't really know what to expect. And then she said that they will talk to me about options. We're not going down that rabbit hole yet, okay? I have a sense in my gut that because I am finally having a pregnancy where I am properly hydrating, that my belly just has maybe quite a bit of fluid. There's a lot of swimming space because every evening this baby changes position, okay? There are times when he most definitely is head down and I feel his butt on my left side. I feel his hiccups right on my cervix, and I feel when he is down there, okay? And I am generally positive that he's never been fully breech. And that's why I think she was right when she said his butt was up here and his head was like down here in my hip. But he was transverse. He was transverse 2 weeks ago at that appointment. And now he's like sort of transverse crooked at this appointment. And like this even is an odd situation because it seems like his butt is usually on the left side, not the right side, but still it just moves all the freaking time. And it freaks me out. So I'm just hoping that he will get a little bit bigger. He will run out of that wiggle room, that luxury space in there, and he will eventually find himself head down because I just hate these variables. In terms of workout, nutrition, and my diet challenge, I'm working out 5 days a week. Once I finish this video, I'm gonna do my cardio for the day. Everything is going fine. I feel great right now. Like I'm having a pretty boring pregnancy. I don't have any complaints. I feel pretty normal. My feet don't hurt. So, it's just steady as she goes, and I'm just taking it on a day by day, week by week basis, because there will come a point in time when I'm probably going to have to slow down. But as of right now, I'm still lifting Monday through Friday in the morning for an hour and 15 minutes. I do an hour on my lunch breaks, doing incline brisk walking on the treadmill. My weight maintenance challenge that I was on for 9 weeks ended when I turned 31 weeks. So it ended a week ago. And since then, I have tried to scale my calories up to be like, I think I'm like at 200 to 250 calories more per day than I was eating. And I'm just like monitoring my weight gain and trying to find that sweet spot of how many, like what should I be eating to just be gaining like the recommended average amount per week. But it's been tricky because I have days where I'm just not hungry right now. So I don't know. I'm going through like some weeks, weird days where my appetite is a little bit off. But for the most part, I'm just sticking to my plan. I'm tracking macros. I am assigning all those extra calories to mostly fat and carbs because I don't need more than 155 grams of protein in my diet. That's what I'm currently eating. So any additional calories that I'm going to eat here on out are going to be going to carbs and fats because I'm like maxed out on protein. This morning, I actually weighed in at 73.5 kilo. So that's a 0.1 kilo gain from last week. Last week I weighed in at 73.4. And last week's weigh-in meant that I was able to maintain my weight from January 1st to March, what was that? March 1st or something. I had only gained 0.2 kilo. So that whole initiative I ran was successful. And now I'm just trying to find the right calorie intake to just help me gain. I think it's like a quarter of a kilo I should be gaining each week or something. I got an interesting comment on my Instagram page about this like weight maintenance thing I did. And the girl said, she's like, you are the first person I've ever known to notice, to recognize they were gaining too much weight in pregnancy and then actually did something about it instead of just waiting until postpartum and dealing with it then. And while that was very validating, because it was not easy, it's hard to do. It's hard to track your macros and be very scientific about your diet no matter what. But especially in pregnancy, when you have all the valid excuses and like food tastes so good and you're craving things and stuff, it's hard to be like lame and boring and like effectively being on a diet, like I couldn't just eat candy or cake or whatever whenever I wanted to. But the fact of the matter is, I have been through pregnancy and postpartum enough times now to realize that postpartum is not my time to shine. It is not the time mentally or physically that I want to feel like I'm in the hole. Okay? And I don't want to be postpartum with this baby, realizing I really dropped the ball on myself and didn't take my health into consideration. And now I'm exhausted. I'm focused on milk supply. I'm being pulled in a million directions. And I am going to inherently like put that pressure on myself, or I'm just not going to feel myself. My identity is going to feel that much like weirder, and my self-confidence and my self-esteem. It's not going to be a good thing. It's going to be a recipe for disaster when I have a history of extreme postpartum depression. So I realized back in January that if I was going to do anything about this, it needed to be now. And it wasn't any heroic effort or anything that I did. It was simply, I knew that I was going to just have to do it now and suck it up. I did not want to, but I knew that if I didn't do it in pregnancy, there's no way I could have expected myself to do it in postpartum. And I remember having the thought to myself, if I can't do hard things now, when my life is easy, I'm getting 10 hours of sleep at night, I feel great, my hormones are balanced, everything is good, like I've got enough free time to do this stuff. If I can't like commit to a health goal and a fitness goal when I'm like having it good, how on earth am I going to expect myself to be able to commit or do anything like that in postpartum? I don't want that pressure. So that's why I did this now. And, just take my experience for what it is. I'm not trying to say it was the right thing for anyone except myself. But I just knew I needed to do it now versus later if I was going to do anything about it at all. If it meant anything to me at all, I needed to do it now. Okay, so just to wrap up this really long video, over the past week, 1 or 2 weeks, I have pulled out all of my bottles and pump parts. I took a full inventory. I washed, did a vinegar bath, and then washed again, and then sterilized everything I have. I threw out the stuff that needed to be thrown out. I have ordered all the stuff that I needed to have replaced. I either have picked up the packages today or they're on their way. So everything has been purchased. Everything has been cleaned and inventoried. Everything is set aside and ready. I have packed all of my bags. So I have my labor and delivery bag. Then I have my Bia bag, which is, the Bia is like the patient hotel where we go to after we give birth. I mentioned in a previous video that I tend to stay in like my recovery suite for 5 to 7 days after I give birth because I want help with breastfeeding and latching and making sure my kids don't have terrible jaundice because that's just the thing that's happened to them. So I do have to pack a pretty significant bag because I expect to be away for about a week. So that's packed. And then I packed my baby's like baby bag. So everything is packed, and the things I'm missing, I've ordered all my supplements. So everything is like on its way here. And then I just need to, once it arrives, finish putting those things back into my bags. So that's done. That feels really good. I went through my entire wardrobe and pulled out all the clothes that are like breastfeeding and pumping friendly. I went through all of my old nursing bras, all my old nursing tops, threw away the stuff that just was like damaged or stained or whatever. I've bleached things to get them nice and white again. And then I have ordered new stuff that I need to like fill the gaps. So that's taken care of. I have made like, maybe 20 liters of bone broth. I'm going to start drinking that soon. I should probably start drinking it now, but I think I will save that for a couple weeks in the future. And really, like from here on out, the only things I'm focusing on are my nutrition, my health, my rest, meditating, trying to get myself into a calm, like labor space, trying to trust my baby and my body that everything will get into the right position, working on yoga poses. Like that's just my jam right now. So this weekend, we're sending our kids off to their grandparents. My husband and I are going to repaint the interior of our house and rearrange the rooms and like make baby's nursery / my room that I will be sharing with the babies. So I'll share that in my next video. But it's been very, very busy. I feel like these are my final weeks where I can actually be very physically active before things are going to really start to hurt. So let's wrap up this video with a bump shot, shall we? I have no idea what you guys can see because I broke my camera, so I have to have it flipped around. I can't see myself. Oh my God, it is so big. And here it is from the side. This is my third baby, 32 weeks. I just ate lunch, so it's feeling particularly enormous. And here it is from the other side. I don't know if you guys can see this. Here's one of those little cherry angiomas right there. Anyway, that's what it is, bare. And then here it is with clothes on. It's pretty big, y'all. It's pretty big. Anyway, that's it for now. I'm out of here and I will catch you guys in the next one. Okay, bye.